And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the third episode of Dusting Off the Ropes. I'm so excited for this episode because we have one heck of a pro wrestler right here, recently retired, but he had a really great career, and I'm glad to have him on the podcast. But before we bring him on, I do want to announce that we do have a couple sponsorships for this podcast. Thank you to my uncle for this. First off, Raise Energy. Use code ScooterDust to get 15% off your entire order. That's right, 15% off of Raise Energy. I'll explain more in just a bit. Bones Coffee Company is sponsoring. Use code ScooterDust to get 20% off your entire order. And this podcast is also brought to you by Wrestling with Entertainment, where tomorrow my uncle Scooter Dust, and his friend, starts with a J. I'm forgetting it. I feel bad, but I think it's James. We're going to bring you Money in the Bank commentary tomorrow, alternate commentary, the Pacecast, live on YouTube. More to follow up after the interview. If you want to learn more about these sponsorships, tune in tomorrow for the Pacecast on YouTube. Again, more information at the end of the interview, so please stick around for that. And I guess it's time. No, it is time to bring on recently retired, but a great, not just pro wrestler, but a great human being. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome at this time, Coach Mammone.
Well, hello, Mr. Ryan Dust. Hello, Internet. Hello,
Coach
everyone.
Mammone. What's
How
up?
you doing, man?
Good. I am doing good. How is everything?
Everything is going well. I was excited to listen to, I guess, it's some energy drinks and some coffee that we have sponsored in the show now. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Again, thank you to my Uncle Scooter Dust for that. And again, I'll say this, more information at the end of the interview, so stick around, listen to Coach Mammone. He's got a lot to say, and we'll get to more about those sponsorships after the interview. So, Coach, are you ready?
Oh, I've been ready, man. You asked me like a week or even a few weeks ago. I said, I cannot wait for this, Ryan Dust. I'm pumped. I'm hyped up. I'm ready to go. Let's do it. Let's jump in. Let's just get into it.
I am hyped for this. Alrighty. So we're going to start things off. First question. So, as you know, you have not just appeared on Victory Pro Wrestling. You've also appeared on Creative Pro Wrestling, but you also appeared on a YouTube pro wrestling show, GTS Wrestling.
Yes.
So I want to ask you, do you necessarily feel a difference when competing on GTS compared to competing at Victory Pro Wrestling or Creative Pro Wrestling?
Yes, the YouTube show with GTS, it is definitely a completely different vibe. Because there's so much more time in between different matches and different segments, and there's not so much like a live audience there because it's for the YouTube population. But there's the other wrestlers there. Some are really good on helping you get some momentum and feeling their energy. But it is very different than being on an actual live show. When you're doing something live, you know right away, hey, that was great, or no, that was horrible. Or hey, if you botch something in the ring, the fans let you know about it. If you botch something on YouTube, he might edit it out, or you're going to read about it in the comments. So it is completely different, but the guys at GTS with Grim and Doo-Hop, they're amazing. I've been on a few of their episodes, a few of their shows, had some really good rivalries with Doo-Hop. So definitely a lot of fun there, and they were just a lot of fun to work with. So only good things from them.
I'm very glad to hear that. I do want to get somewhat involved in GTS wrestling in the future, so I'm glad to hear about that. But after you retired, you appeared on GTS at Grimomania, and Doo-Hop wanted you in the Hall of Fame. Grim necessarily did not want it, but you're the first person in the Doo-Hop Hall of Fame. If I'm correct.
First and very proud member of the Doo-Hop Hall of Fame. So I had the whole feud with Doo-Hop. Him and I didn't really get along so well together. And he called me up and says, Coach, come on out. You're going to be put in the Hall of Fame. And basically what you saw in that episode is Grimm had no idea what was going out there. So I went out thinking I'm in the Hall of Fame, and that's when you saw on camera, Grimm basically said to Duhop, like, no, like, he hasn't been here that long, he doesn't deserve it. And Duhop was, he was all for it, put me in the Hall of Fame. So it was definitely a fun episode, that one too. Very honored to be in the Duhop Hall of Fame, regardless of where it stands in the GTS Hall of Fame. It's a pretty cool honor, and Duhop's a good guy for putting me in there.
You've had a amazing career, and I think you definitely deserve to be in somewhat of a Hall of Fame. And I think the Duhop Hall of Fame, hey, the first, I believe the only member of the Duhop Hall of Fame. So
I am the whole Hall of Fame of Duhop. So that's
are.
Cool.
I remember watching that episode, and I was like, wait a minute. And I saw somebody in the background, and all of a sudden Duhop's like, and then I'm like, wait a minute, Coach, Coach is there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, but me and my friend, his name is Nick. We talk a lot about GTS wrestling, and we both want to get involved somehow. And I think just seeing you, also some other Creative Pro guys there, I think basically says it's possible. We can do this. I think it's really cool that you were on GTS Wrestling and you are in the Duhop Hall of Fame. So congrats to that.
Thank you very much. A lot with that, as you kind of were asking about before, the YouTube shows are almost crazier because there's always a whole lot going on. There's, as you could even see on there, there's a few different people filming. There's just chaos all over the place. So in a strange way, an actual wrestling show is a little bit, I don't want to say easier, but it's kind of like all eyes are there. You could all focus there. While the YouTube show, there's just so many different things going on. So it's, you can only see what the camera shows. You don't see what's off there or over there either. So being there live, you get to see it all, and it's just really crazy and a lot of fun.
Especially like if you're having a brawl or something, if the camera is not showing you, nobody's gonna see it except for the people who are there, of course. But for like Victory Pro Wrestling or Creative Pro, everybody sees it. So no matter what you do, everybody's gonna see if you do a huge move, or even if you like trip. It's something. I think it's more pressure when it's at VPW or Creative Pro, because again with GTS, you can just be like, okay, it's not live, so that's also another advantage. But I think both is definitely cool. Mm-hmm. So
they're very different in their own ways. Where once again with the YouTube show, you have to be on your own to get yourself energetic and up and amped up for a match, which is really in front of no one. You hear your theme music at a Victory Pro Wrestling show, everyone goes crazy. Okay, now you're feeling good. Or they're booing you, and you're like, all right, time to go out there and do my thing. Where on YouTube, like there's really no one really there that much. So
yeah, you basically have to listen. You have to see the comments and see if people like you or not.
That's it. You got to wait after.
People don't like you, basically. Everybody's gonna be booing you, and that probably will turn around what's going on. While at VPW or something, you could be a bad guy, and everybody can cheer you. It happens, but
it happen.
No, it's take for example Johnny Collins. Everybody was, when you were having your final matches, everybody was cheering him. It was very weird, because I even said this to Johnny. It was to Stevens, where it was weird how before the pandemic everybody was just on your side. Everybody was cheering for you. Everybody wanted you as VPW champion. And then all of a sudden, after the pandemic, everybody wanted Johnny Collins as champion. Basically, the crowd turned on you. So that's something. While on GTS Wrestling, though, basically people will cheer you, and then if people don't like it, people boo you. Basically, what everybody sees, that's how people will react. People see them cheering you, everybody think, he's a good guy, I'll cheer for him. But if everybody does not, if people are booing you, then people in the comments will be like, he's a bad guy, nobody likes him, let's boo him. Like, it's basically like that. So yeah, I could definitely see a difference there, but I wanted to ask you if you had felt any difference, especially since you competed on both shows. Anyways, we're gonna get to our second question now. I've been wanting to ask this. When you were wrestling, you had a whistle. Did any wrestlers or anybody like fans come up to you or anything? Just did they ever complain about the whistles?
As in the loud whistling noises at matches and everything.
Yes.
I've heard a few of those complaints. I don't remember exactly from who, but there's definitely people at my table, either intermission or after, with like, coach, like, those whistles are horrible. I couldn't focus on this match or that match. They're blowing the whistle the entire show, and I just said, okay, they were blowing a whistle. That's, I'm not stopping anyone from blowing a whistle. I know they are definitely very loud, also. So I got good whistles. What could I say?
No, it was very loud. It was, as much as I love seeing you in the ring and stuff, that's the one thing where I'm like, I don't know if I'll miss that. I remember I remember when I was security and stuff, I'd be like, oh my god, the whistles. I wasn't blaming you. You're doing your job, but I'm like, oh my god, it's like, especially when it's like late at night, you get tired, and then all of a sudden it's like a headache. It's just like, but especially since you were in the main event scene, it was around like 11 p.m. So it was like,
yeah,
it's like, I guess everybody needs something to keep awake.
That's it.
Nobody wants to fall asleep during a Coach Mammone match.
That's right, and they shouldn't.
It's so entertaining. Just the whistle, taking off the pants. It's so entertaining, and just I applaud you for that.
Well, thank you. The breakaway pants were a fun added bonus. I think around like my third or fourth match, I started doing the breakaway pants. And
oh, really?
Yeah, I started off with regular, like, old school, like, 80s looking Adidas pants, like red, just with white stripes on the side. And my first match, when I just like pull the pants off, I have the short shorts, and I was getting cat calls and people were kind of laughing, and I was a bad guy then. So I'm like, this is amazing. So I was not expecting that at all. And then when it's the breakaway pants, it's like an even bigger effect with it. So it all worked out really well, though. And as you said, the pants are very memorable.
It definitely is memorable. I remember everybody would be cheering, "Take off the pants!" Like, everybody would be like, "Take off the pants, coach!" Because when you take off the pants, it's almost like Hulk Hogan doing a Hulk up. Like, you're on fire.
Yeah, well, that's it. That was a big part of it. The pants come off. It's that adrenaline push, really. Nice shot of adrenaline.
Definitely. I remember one time, like at the Monster Mash event for Victory Pro Wrestling, somebody actually dressed as you, and they had breakaway pants. So I thought that was very funny, and it was awesome.
It's always,
I remember
fans like that.
I was in the ring when that happened. I remember I won the Halloween contest, but I remember I won it. I remember he got eliminated, and he was like, "I'm not leaving this ring until I take off the pants." And he just like, "Who wants to see me take off the pants?" And everybody was like, "Yeah!" And it was awesome. I was like, "Where's Coach? Where's Coach when I want to see his
out.
What?
I should have ran out and helped him out.
Yeah,
double pants off.
Double pants off. That would have been funny. That'd probably be on VPW's Instagram page. So my dad actually wanted to ask you a question.
Okay. Wait, hold on. Is he coming on the show to ask?
No, unfortunately, no.
If he wants this, he's got to be here, Ryan. He can't be like a call-in.
How about this? I'll skip that question. I'll text him right now. If he wants to come on the podcast, he can. Because he's actually been wanting to come on the podcast. He's actually, me and him have talked, and we basically said I said, you know what, next podcast. But if you want him on, I'll try to get him on. I don't think he'll be.
So Ryan, I'm only teasing, but if you want to try to get him out, that's fine.
No,
I like stirring some trouble.
He actually wants to be on. That's the funny part. Usually,
Okay.
usually parents are like, no, I don't want to be on camera. He's like, yeah. It's like it's so interesting. Um, so I'll skip that question. If he says no, I'll get back to it. If he does, I'll say okay. I'll send you the link.
All right, you're up.
All right. So last year you retired from wrestling. You had a retirement match against Johnny Collins where Johnny Collins won, and then you had to retire. Is there anything you didn't get to do in wrestling that you would consider coming out of retirement to do?
Um, so I'm a very practical person, and I know making an actual living out of wrestling, like WWE or AEW, is a long shot. And I'm not saying that put myself down. I just know like it takes a lot to be there. You need a lot of years in the business, in my opinion, and usually they're going for younger people. So as much as I would love to do that, I don't see myself coming out of retirement and having that opportunity. And I'm totally fine with that. Making WWE or AEW, that's not like the end all be all. Like you said, I've been very happy and blessed with my wrestling career. Yes, I would have liked to kind of travel to more places, more states, more companies, but there's not really like that one thing that I never had a chance to do or never had a chance to, to experience. Definitely really happy with it all. I think it would just be to wrestle different people, different states, and just different places, really. So, but there's not one specific goal that I have that I would come out of retirement for.
Now I'll give you a follow up question to that. If let's say out of nowhere WWE or AEW called and they said, "We know you're retired, but hey, do you want to compete one more match?" Would you do it, or would you say, "No, I'm retired"?
So most people are going to think I'm crazy, but I would have to ask follow-up questions. Who am I wrestling? When is it? What's the whole scenario? Um, I know there's probably people that think I'm crazy for it once again, but that's just kind of how I am right now. I'm really happy with my career, and I don't really have a big push to go back into wrestling right now. Once again, if they called, yeah, it would be a little bit different, but it's not like I'm gonna jump right up and get on a plane and go wherever. I would have to kind of wait and see what they have. For me to go back out there for one more match, it would have to like mean something, or at least be against someone that I want to go against, not just to have a match on there on some random show, kind of. So it would just have to be more meaningful. That's how I see it. It's not just to kind of do it. It would have to have some kind of meaning for me.
Okay. No, I think that's very
So,
smart.
so Ryan, to kind of follow up and explain a little bit more, my kind of because of my age and my career, I'm in a much different spot than most people are. If I was 20, 22 years old, yeah, I would jump at that. But I feel like I'm just in a much different spot. I'm married. I'm in a house. I have a baby coming soon. So going for something like that, it's not really a top priority anymore. If I was younger and didn't have a lot of other things going on, I would jump on that for sure. But I also know too just kind of how it works and what it takes to get there. And I understand it's a whole lot of time, it's a lot of work, and it takes a lot to be there. So I don't want to put anyone down that is doing that because I think it's an amazing dream, and to do that would be incredible.
Definitely. I think you've had a great career, and congrats on the baby.
Thank you.
Hope everything goes well with that.
Thank you.
Um, basic. So yeah, I think I would probably have the same mindset. If I got to, uh, if I got to where you are right now, um, maybe I would think to come back again. If WWE or AEW called, I'd probably be like maybe, just maybe, give me time. But no, I think you've done everything that makes you a star, and congrats to that.
Thank you, Ron. To follow up again, it's one of those things that some people don't fully understand is that when you're on a wrestling show, you have to be at your best. And it's not something that I would want to just go out there just to do. I want to go out there and perform the way I know how to. So that's why like it takes that preparation time to be back and ready to do what you know you can do. So I wouldn't want to go out there, watch the match back and be like, oh, that was really horrible. I shouldn't have gone out there at all. That looks really bad. So it's a lot of that that goes into it as well.
Definitely. So I was saying before, my dad wanted to ask you a question. He's here right now.
Yeah.
Live from the Dust household.
Yes. I heard his door open up before. I was getting excited, hoping that was him.
It was him. He wanted to ask you a question. We were just at dinner. He wanted to ask you this question.
All right.
Dad, do you want to take the headset so you can hear him?
Yeah, Papa Dust, get in there.
He said Papa Dust. He said Papa Dust.
I keep saying Daddy Dust, but he doesn't
Daddy
like that
Dust,
either.
Papa Dust. Well, Papa Daddy Dust.
Alrighty.
Here we go.
This is
I
the
gotta
question
be
you asked at the diner, right?
I feel like I'm just talking with a t-shirt. All right, bring it on, Papa Dust.
All right, so I have seen you in VPW. Big fan. I think you're great and was really happy when you won the VPW championship. So I said, with all his moves, the move where you're running back and forth and you're either stepping on the guy or jumping over the guy and you're blowing the whistle?
Yeah.
Were you ever worried that you would actually swallow the whistle and choke on it while you were doing the move?
No. So sometimes I have the lanyard on my neck and it's just in my mouth. Other times it was just in my mouth and lanyard was kind of hanging down. But I just was never worried about that at all. Pre-wrestling years, I was a long distance runner. So I'm used to running. I'm used to wearing those short shorts. Like that doesn't bother me at all. So I kind of have that cardio in me, and I'm used to the running part.
It would bother me. You wouldn't catch me dead wearing short shorts.
So I was saying to your son before my first match, I had on like these late 80s Adidas looking pants, and I just pulled them down to have the short shorts. And they're catcalling, and they're making these noises and everything. And after the match, I'm like, so hold on. I'm wearing short shorts, and there's guys in trunks that are shorter than mine, but that's okay. Like, they're in underwear, I'm in shorts. How does that work out? But I'm the one that seems...
In the 80s, I didn't wear short shorts. I wore jams.
Jams?
Jams. Remember the pants with all the different colors? In the 80s? Yeah, horrible. Trust me. Thank God that's over.
Yeah.
So that was the question. We were coming up with questions. I said, when he blows the whistle, I'd be scared. I know you had the lanyard, but I'd still be scared of choking on it or...
The ball.
Yeah.
The ball
of the whistle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, never thought about that. That was never one of my concerns, but I could see how that could be a big question.
It was great talking to you. Enjoy the podcast with Ryan Dust, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, Papa Dust.
All right, thanks.
My dad, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, your dad has like that radio announcer type of voice.
He does have that radio voice.
I did radio.
He said he did radio. So that explains.
Makes perfect sense. See, I picked up on that right away. The way he said it. And now enjoy the rest of the promo with Ryan Dust. I'm like, this is a straight up advertisement. Love it. All right.
No, I definitely am going to have him ask questions in the future for the podcast, so I can't wait for that. He has a plan and everything, so I can't wait for that.
Tell him I had better questions. He won't let me ask them.
He had better questions, but I wouldn't let him answer it because I'm not going to ask them.
Uh-oh. Might have to do that one off camera. Who knows?
Yeah, we might have to do that off camera. I don't think that's going to be an on-camera question, Dad.
All right, no worries.
We were talking so much at dinner. It was crazy. But thank you, Dad. Yep. Alrighty. That was something. By the way, Gru says in chat, "We love you, Coach." So.
Well, hello, Gru. Thank you for the support. We love you guys too.
All right, so now we're going to get to the pictures section of the podcast. So basically, if you haven't seen previous episodes, I'm going to switch my screen. I'm going to show you 5 pictures of superstars, and I want you to give your opinion about them. It could be one word, it could be a paragraph. How much you want to talk about them.
Okay.
All right, are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, so let me switch over to my virtual...
That's the guy from Mortal Kombat, right?
Mortal Kombat?
I'm just kidding. The symbol looks like something from Mortal Kombat.
Oh, the symbol. I was like, no, that's the OBS logo. It's it's what happens when I don't turn on the camera.
Gotcha.
Alrighty. First one.
I mean, how you can't just say one word about him. And hold on, timeout. Are these gonna be 5 pictures of Johnny Collins?
No, it's not gonna be 5 pictures of Johnny Collins.
Because come on, knowing you, there would be 5 pictures. I'm like, I'm just gonna X out.
No. It would not have 5
All right.
pictures of Johnny Collins.
But that is something you would do, right? Or like Johnny Collins in
maybe
different pose or every picture.
Yeah, one picture of him holding up the BBW title, the next picture holding like hairspray or something.
Yes. Wow. So Collins and I are good friends. I trained with him. I got into wrestling with him. Like all that stuff is true. What I said at the VPW show like last November. So to say like an opinion about him, it's so much to say about him. I think he's an incredible talent, and he has so much to offer that once he kind of has a little bit more freedom to do what he needs to and do what he wants, it's just amazing things are going to happen. He's just an awesome all-around person, and yeah, I can only really say good things about him. Yes, he beat me multiple times last year. Yes, he retired me, but that's part of the game. Like, that's how wrestling is. I don't hold grudges against him. We made up after, so really nothing bad to say about him. He talks a whole lot. He's annoying, but that's all right.
I think last year, Coach Mammone versus Johnny Collins was the feud of the year. So very good feud. I think it was an unfortunate ending of the feud for you, but I think you got better things to come, especially with the baby on the way. So,
Ryan, start with that. Also, in November, when I challenged and put my career on the line, once again, because I know how he is, he would just take the belt and not give me any rematch. So, like, I knew I had to do something completely out there, something very crazy just to get that rematch because he won it. And that's why, like, I had to go above and beyond to attempt it.
You have to put something on the line in order to get that rematch. And he I guess he fell for it, but he won.
Yeah, so, hey, it worked out in his favor. Like I said, we made up, so it's all good.
I'm glad it's good. I'm glad there's no tension there after that.
No, it's all good.
Alrighty. Next picture.
Philip Cardigan.
Cardigan.
What's it say? Oh, happy wife, happy life. So Philip Cardigan, another amazing superstar. I love watching his matches and watching him go out into the ring. I think he gets such a huge pop from the fans. I like his whole routine, the whole match. Once again, a lot of good things to say about him. Just a super cool guy, and it's just really entertaining watching his matches also. Once again, just a lot of good things about him, and I love it. Everything that he does with his coffee and just his whole routine, man. He's a lot of fun to watch. His videos, by the way, his like promo videos on the things he does just for fun are so entertaining to watch also.
Oh, I love watching that, especially like when he like was in the background Macho Man's promo, you know, when he faced Macho Man in the steel cage.
Yes.
That cage structure. I thought that was funny. I could never do that unless if I go to like a special advanced editing class. Yeah. But I don't know how he does that. I need him to teach me that.
Yeah, he's super creative and super talented, and that's why it just makes it so much more fun to watch even. So and that's by the way, that's in the ring and the social media stuff like that on his different videos. So just a lot of fun all around.
Yeah, I got to have him on the podcast. I think that would be such a fun interview, just talking about a lot of stuff, coffee.
Yeah. That's how you got the coffee sponsor, right? He was talking about coffee.
Definitely.
Look at that.
Alrighty. The next person.
Is that Vanilla Ice? Who's that?
It's the
Yeah, I know.
new
Jack
Victory Pro
Tomlinson.
Wrestling champion, Jack Tomlinson.
But notice how there's no belt on him.
I do know because, well, one, there is no promo picture of him with the title, so
That's all good. I do feel like he does look like Vanilla Ice here, or like some old like 50-year-old like Italian gangster with the whole like gold tracksuit on. I don't know. This picture cracks me up. And is he wearing a whistle, by the way?
no, he is wearing a no, I'm sorry. Logan Paul, who
Yeah.
he inspired the entrance gear out of not the tights, just the jacket and the lanyard. Logan Paul wore a rare Pokemon card at WrestleMania. He wears his trading card that he has of FWF, his first trading card. So basically, you see a little bit of a resemblance there between him and Logan Paul.
Of course.
He wants to face Logan Paul, by the way. He wants himself and Dante Drago, his tag team partner, to face the Paul brothers. So,
Well, hey, good luck for him if he can get that going.
if that happens, I would love to see that in person. Especially with Logan Paul just signing with WWE.
I know. I saw that.
That could be that match is a little bit more possible.
Yeah. And I will say, I think a lot of people don't like that idea because they don't think he's talented or he's just a name. And the thing is, yes, because he's a name, he brings in more people. So people are now going to tune in and watch him just to see what happens, or just to watch him get beat up because they don't like him. So
Definitely, it's a business move by WWE.
that's exactly what I was going to say. Also, it's a business move. As
Yeah.
Triple H would always say, it's what's best for business. That's it.
Definitely, best for business. It's a great move by WWE, and I wonder what's gonna be going on with Logan Paul. He might be facing The Miz at SummerSlam, so that could be something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we shall see.
Definitely. Alrighty, next picture. Now, I'm going to warn you, the next two pictures are a little blurry.
All right.
Alrighty.
Is that notorious Desmond Cole?
This is Desmond Cole. Unfortunately, I cannot find
You
the
know-
big boofa Desmond Cole.
Yeah, you're going old school.
I am going a little old school. I did go a little old school here.
All right. So Desmond Cole, or Big Boof as we like to call him, he is someone that has so much energy. The same way when he goes out to the ring, huge pop. I think the fans love him a lot. They like seeing his athleticness and all the different things that he does in the ring. I watched the Rumble from last August, and seeing him in the ring, listen to the crowd, they were going crazy for him. And that, for me, as a fan watching, that's something that really stands out because you're able to get this whole everyone on your side, basically. And they're going crazy, they're cheering, they're yelling for you, and that's something really special. That's in wrestling, that's what we want. You're either cheering us or booing us. And when the Big Boofa went out there, he got all of that. I would love to see Big Boofa either retain his belt for a very long time or go on for the heavyweight championship belt in VPW. But either way, I think he has a really strong career ahead. Once again, he's just a really talented person to watch. Him and I kind of trained a little bit when I first started. It wasn't all the time, but he would stop by the ring sometime and, do a few things together. So I've known him for a couple of years also.
No, I've been very impressed by the Big Boofa. He defeated Eric James to become New York State champion, and I think that was one heck of a match between the two of them. He outperforms every match that he has, and he's awesome to see in the ring, and just seeing the progression of not just his character but his in-ring skills is just awesome to see, and I'm so glad that he's the champion right now.
I agree. I like how you said progression, because when he first came to VPW, he did have some things to work on, just a few things overall. And listen, we all do. It's not like a bad thing against him at all. But he put in the work. He got better. And as you said, he looks so much different, so much better in the ring. And that's just, it's a lot of hard work that goes into it behind the scenes, not just on, the night of a show. So he's done an awesome job just doing what was needed to get better.
He's such a nice guy in real life and such a nice guy in the ring, and just, it's so cool to see all the stuff he does, especially with, his dancing, all his flips that he does. It's so cool to see, and he's somebody that I would love to see another match with you, or even like somebody that can also match up like with the flips and stuff. Like who else? I would not mind to see another match between him and Eric James.
Mm-hmm.
They put on a classic, and I think that could be another great classic right there. But if you ever decide to come out of retirement, Desmond Cole is somebody that I would like to see you face. So,
all right. Well, I will keep that in mind, Dust.
Definitely keep that in mind. All right, here is the last one. Again, a little bit blurry and a little bit of a throwback.
Yeah, razzle dazzle, my man. Wow. So, all right, were you around early VPW days when I debuted, or in my first few matches there?
I did. I remember when you first showed up, you did not have a mustache.
Correct.
You were wearing a green jacket.
Yes.
Instead of a red jacket.
Man, you're good, Dust.
It was very early on, and I remember it was. I didn't know who you were. I saw you, but I was like, I don't know who that guy is, because I think I might have missed the show when you debuted.
Okay.
I forget, but I do remember the early days of No Stash Mammone.
Yeah, I think that was only 2 matches or so at VPW. It wasn't many. So I had to bring all that up because Razzle Dazzle, him and I teamed for maybe a few months. And maybe like my 3rd show there or somewhere around there, I was going out to kind of to scout him, basically. He was someone that was there for a while. And listen, as the new guy there, I was trying to match up with someone that's been there for a while and form a tag team and go for some tag team titles, basically. That was the plan. That was the goal in the beginning. It didn't work out. We didn't get tag team gold. We had a few tag matches together, and then we split. But it was definitely a fun experience for those first few months with him. I think our characters were similar because we're both kind of quirky and out there. And I think it was just a fun time being out there. As you could see, he has the mannequin with the mustache on there, and he would bring that out when we went to go wrestle. But that is a true throwback. So nice research, Dust.
I remember watching you and Razzle Dazzle teaming up. I remember he would dress like you. He would try to act like you.
Yep.
You try to do some moves. And I remember, I think he did have the breakaway pants. But I think instead of wearing short shorts, I think he wore actual shorts.
Yes.
So I thought that was very funny.
Very few can wear the short shorts. So he was like, no, I need a little bit longer. He might have had them rolled up or something, though.
I think you're right. I think he did have them rolled up, but I think as the match went on, I think they fell a little bit.
They might have.
It was definitely funny. Definitely funny.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're gonna get to fan questions. Now, unfortunately, no Twitter fan questions, but we had a good amount of Instagram questions.
Okay. So before you ask that, I'm actually very surprised that you didn't have a picture of someone else or some other team on there.
Ah, the Even Stevens, huh?
That's what I was thinking. Once you had Collins, I'm like, okay, Even Stevens are next.
I was thinking about that, but I was thinking, I think we got to go with Razzle Dazzle. I think we got to go with Desmond Cole. I think to be honest, when I was going through the pictures, I think the Even Stevens came through mine at first, but then I totally forgot as when I was like getting to like the final person, and I was like Razzle Dazzle, I think, because that's history right there.
I agree, but
also I think with talking about Johnny Collins, I think the Even Stevens could have maybe been brought up, but hey,
it's all good. And by the way, going back to the Big Buffa,
Yeah.
I wrestled him, I think, only once, and it was in the King of the New York tournament, my first match. I don't remember the year, but one of the first round match, it was a triple threat. So it was Fighter Cat, if you remember him.
I do.
And yep, so it was Fighter Cat and the Big Buffa. That was my open round match. So that was the only time I had to wrestle him. Like you said too, is definitely if I ever come back, there's a lot of different things we can do together in a match. That would be good. So
Yeah, it would be, as I say, a classic. It would be awesome to see that, seeing the Whistle versus the Buffa.
I like it. Book it, Dust.
I'll book it. WWE 2K.
See, I was gonna say, put it in your wrestling game. We'll see who wins.
Speaking of 2K, I actually, me and Desmond kind of teamed up with his character. I basically made the attire. He made the face scan because he was like, I made a character in 2K, and I was like, oh really? And he's like, yeah, and I was like, how's it look? And he showed me. I was like, that's a great face scan. I've been in trouble finding a face scan. He's like, download it on the community creation. So I was like, okay, and I downloaded it, and I basically just transferred my attire over to his character. So basically, thanks to him, we have his character in
Very
2K.
cool.
So
Well done, Ryan. It's always really cool seeing how you create the different wrestlers, the entrance. Like seriously, I know it's a lot of work that goes into it, but it's really cool seeing it. So
thank you, Coach. I really appreciate it. People would a lot of people don't know is that this actually takes a long time. It's not like 1, 2, 3. It takes a while, especially for let's say like Dante Drago, for instance. His attire actually took me 2 tries. The first try, I tried creating his attire. I almost finished, and then the game wanted to do an infinite load glitch, which basically that the only way to escape the glitch was to close the game, and I couldn't save anything. So basically, everything that I just did wiped away. So I basically said, instead of just getting mad and everything, I said, I'll go back. I'll go to it another time. And I went to it like 2-3 months later, and I was like, I think it's time to create Dante again. Created him, and I'm glad it came out good. And I think there's always room for improvement, but I think it came out very good. And it's a lot of steps to do. Again, it's not just like, oh, here's this, let's do this. It's like, you gotta do some Photoshop, because let's say something's not right with the picture of the attire or something. Like Bryce Donovan, I couldn't find great pictures of his attire, but I found a picture of his logos that were just different colors than the one I needed. So I just changed the colors of it, and it worked. So I'm glad that happened.
awesome.
Alrighty. So let's get to fan questions, shall we?
Fans' questions. Let's hear it.
Alright, so this is Serena8522 asks, will you ever return to wrestling at some point?
As of now, I don't see myself returning. I think, people always say never. So I don't want to say that I'm never coming back. But as of now, I don't really see myself coming back, though. Like we said before, I've enjoyed everything that I've had. So there's not really one or a handful of things that are really pushing me to come back and wrestle. I've really enjoyed it all, and just doing different things now. So hey, we'll see what happens in the future, though.
Well, as The Undertaker said at his Hall of Fame speech, never say never. So
Exactly.
who knows? One day we'll probably hear Center Field by John, his last name. Fogerty.
Yeah.
It was so I know it was something like that. I just forget how you pronounced it.
That's all right.
Well, I think one day we'll hear Center Field once again.
We might.
Real Pretty Boy 1, aka Johnny Collins, asks, what's your favorite emoji?
Shrug emoji? I mean, it's gotta be, right?
He said he'll know what the correct answer is.
Shrug emoji. That's it.
Shrug emoji.
It works perfect for so many different things, and shrug emoji. I mean, it's just perfect.
That should have been a shirt. Just the shrug emoji, but with a mustache and a whistle.
So, so we could have like the mustache and then just the hands
yes.
going up.
Yes.
That's it.
That would be absolutely funny. Officially wicked. Asks, at what moment did you realize you wanted to be a professional wrestler?
So I grew up watching wrestling, loving it. I took some time off, like in like 6th and 7th grade, from watching it. I actually ran to Shawn Michaels at an airport when I was a senior in college, and so at this time I wasn't watching wrestling at all. I just kind of got away from him. So when I saw him, I knew who he was, but wasn't sure if he was actually still wrestling. So I saw him there, met him, quick like 1-minute conversation, nothing much at all. Got a picture, super cool, and then I kind of started watching again, because I met him. And then I had a few different friends that were doing wrestling. They told me about it, and they're like, "Hey, you should come and try it out." And this was probably like 2015, maybe 2016, somewhere around then. And I just decided to basically just go to this place in I forget where exactly, somewhere on Long Island, and just try it out. It was definitely really, really cool. So going back to even Stevens, Steve Somerset was one of the guys that helped train me. Johnny Collins was there too when I started. So like I've known both of them my entire wrestling career. So it's really cool to unfortunately go against them so much, but also cool just having them around my career for as long as it's been. But it was definitely around then, and just something that was really fun to do. Kind of always seemed like almost like a fantasy. You see it on TV, it's amazing, it's a lot of fun, and then to do it in person, regardless of 100 people, 200 people, 30 people, it's just so much fun. So just through some friends, they kind of got me into it, and just loved it ever since.
No, I when you were talking, I found it really interesting that the people you started with in professional wrestling are the same people that
ended my career.
Ended, yeah.
They ended my career. You could say it, Ryan. It's all right.
No, I think it's a coincidence. I think it's the people that started your pro wrestling career, the people you started with, ended your career. So I think that's a very much of a coincidence and very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But sorry.
No, it definitely is. It's like I started with them. They were teaching me different moves, teaching me different things, and then, like you said, they're the ones who ended it at the end.
It's again, it's still a shame that they retired you, but again, it's I can't be sad because you're doing great out in retirement.
Thank you.
As long as you're doing good, it's good in the end.
I agree.
Robert Rodriguez 43 asks, "Will you ever come back to VPW?" Now, he didn't say about like wrestling. I guess he like, will you ever come back like to just to see the show? Will you ever come back to like maybe get involved with something, not wrestling, but maybe be a manager? What's your take?
It might happen. For me right now, I'm kind of enjoying my break from wrestling. It's one of those things that it takes up a lot of time when you're doing it. So having some time away, it is nice. It's even though it's a couple of hours of a show, we're usually there early. We stay late. It's like an all day thing. And this thing that I was saying before, it's the physical, the mental preparation. We're going through a lot to make sure that when we're out there, it's as good as we want it to be. And we're not leaving the show seeing like, oh wow, that really sucked. I looked horrible out there. So it's a lot of the background work to make sure we're show ready, basically. We're ready to go out there and perform. But with that being said, would I go back? Not sure yet. Maybe I manage, maybe I do something there. It could happen, but like I said, for now, I'm just enjoying the time away from wrestling, actually.
Yeah, I definitely take your time. I mean, no one's forcing you to come back, but I think you're having a baby soon, so I think that's very important right now. And if you do come back, I think everybody will enjoy that you're back. So I don't think anybody will say, "Oh, he's back." I think everybody will definitely be happy that you're back. I mean, when you were doing your final entrance, everybody was cheering for you. Everybody was on their feet. Nobody left. Maybe a couple people left just because because again it was late, but a lot of people stayed because they wanted to see your final entrance. So it just goes to show that the VPW fans are very much missing you, and we would be excited and thrilled to have you back.
And Ryan, it's crazy when you talk about that because as you remember, when my theme music hit that night, there were a lot of boos.
There were, but I think definitely I think because also everybody thinks I don't think he's gonna retire. I think everybody's like, there's no way he can retire. And then I think once the bell rung, everybody's like, oh shit, he retired. It was like, even I was like, oh my god, he retired. I was like, as much as you know that I'm a Johnny Collins fan, I was like, I couldn't see it from both sides. I couldn't see Johnny losing the title that quickly, but I also couldn't see you retiring because I thought you had so much more to accomplish, and so much more to do, and I was sad. I was like, oh my god, you retired. And I was just starting to know you too. I was like a few months before you had your final match. I basically after the pandemic, I started to introduce myself to you. And I think just knowing that I was just getting to know you, and all of a sudden he's gone. It upset me. So, but I'm glad that I'm getting to speak to you right now, and that you have not gone anywhere.
Definitely, I'm still here. That was Ryan. That was a very emotional night. Very bittersweet, and everything that happened in the ring after, it was just speaking on pure emotion. I was not expecting all the fans to react in that way. Was not expecting the guys in the back to come out. Really, just totally blown away from the whole ceremony, basically. And that was the part. I was talking to my wife about it after. Just being there, hearing the fans, that's what I missed the most. Just being in that environment. And I knew, once I leave this ring now, that's it. I'm not really going to get that back. It might be a few years or so, but just to be here now and to feel that energy is such an incredible time.
Yeah, it was such a special moment, and I think that was it was a heartbreaking moment, especially again because I just got to know you. Just seeing you go, it was like I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like. Am I gonna still keep in touch with him? But I was like, I'm gonna still keep in touch with him, and look at now. We're on the podcast. We're talking.
Oh, perfect.
So, and heck, maybe in a few years I'll have you on the podcast for the 4th time, and be like, you just won the Victory Pro Wrestling Championship again.
You never know. Crazy things might happen.
Crazy things do happen, and that might be a crazy thing. Who knows? That's the future. Tony Stark Moxley, aka Ciara. I don't know if you know them. They go to VPW. They dress up as Orange Cassidy.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
They ask, is there a favorite match of yours that you rewatch?
That I rewatch. So I think one that stands out in my mind a lot, and there's been a lot of matches that I've been in that I'm really proud of, that I do like to go back and watch. But one that kind of stands out a lot is the Rumble of 2018. And that was actually a match where Johnny Collins and I met 1 and 2 in the ring. And back then, he was good and I was bad. And it was a big match because I finished in the Final 4, went on to wrestle for the championship match that night. And it was just one of those things, too, where there was a lot of people that were cheering for me, even though I was a bad guy. And I only started in February, and already in August, the crowd was kind of already turning a lot. They were starting to go crazy. They were loving what I was doing, and I just remember thinking like the whole place is just erupting, and it was just a really really cool time. The same way, feeling that energy there, seeing everything that's going on in the match, and just having so much fun with it. And Razzle Dazzle was in there. Him and I were tag teaming a little bit. So just like I always love Rumbles because so many different things can happen, and you're working with different people that you normally wouldn't. Where Razzle and I, we were a tag team, but you kind of team up with anyone that's around just to help beat up someone else. So just a whole lot of fun that match.
No, definitely. And speaking of the Rumble, you'll see why in a minute that I'm kind of laughing. You'll see why. But no, I think very early on, I think everybody was like, okay, he's a bad guy, boo. But I think especially seeing what you can do in that ring, who you are, I think everybody's like, this guy's entertaining. I think I'll cheer for him. This guy is, it's not just, a generic character. He's a coach. He's the coach. And it's very interesting. And again, like we were saying before with the pants and everything, everybody wanted to see the pants off. So I think everybody's like, we want to see the pants off. And it's like everybody was cheering because they wanted the pants off. Everybody wanted to hear the whistle. Everybody wanted to buy a whistle. And then the whole
show.
and you had to listen to the whole show. But but even when you won the VPW championship, everybody was blowing the whistle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was so. And then I think once the pandemic hit, and when we came back after the pandemic, I think a lot of people forgot their whistles at home, which I can't complain about. But but no, I remember the Rumble. I remember I was sitting front row, and I remember seeing. I don't remember too much about it, but I remember I saw you in the match. I remember I saw. I forget the final four. I know you. You just said you were in it.
It was. Go on. Let's see how many you can remember.
Kyler Khan.
Yup.
He was 1. You were 2. Who was 3 and 4? That's 3 and 4. I want to say Tibbs.
Yup.
He was okay. Then I was correct. But who was 4? It's either. I can only think of 2, and I think I'm wrong.
So what's 2? Who are you thinking?
Eric James or VSK. I cannot think.
So I'll give you a clue. Ready?
Alrighty.
VSK was not there that night.
VSK was not there that night. Okay. So
you had 2 choices, right? If VSK
So Eric James. Okay. I was like, okay, you're not saying anything about Eric.
Because that's why. If VSK wasn't there, it had to be Eric. Yeah.
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 All right. So now I remember. Yeah, I did kind of remember. But
So going back to the Rumble, they've done that Rumble match in different ways. So that year they had the Rumble as the first match, and the last 4 on the match then wrestled at the end of the night. Yeah, fatal 4-way elimination style. Then the next few years they've also done just Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
It goes on to for a chance to challenge for the belt.
Last man standing.
Correct. Yes, just like what we normally see on TV.
Yeah.
So they've done some different things with it. So it definitely changes up, makes it different. But hey, both ways are fun.
It's still a Rumble. It's the ending that changes. But hey, I don't mind either way. There's still one winner.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a man that's gonna get a VPW championship match.
That's right.
But no, I kind of like the Royal Rumble way because that's what I always see. I always like the Royal Rumble when watching in January. So I think, especially seeing that in VPW, I think that's just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when the Gold Rush Rumble match is this year, but I'm wondering who's gonna win it.
It's usually August, but
yeah,
things might change. Who knows?
It was I think that was the second event last year. Once we came back, it was Homecoming, and then I think it was the Gold Rush Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember Gold Rush Rumble was the first event that I came back. Because July I was busy. That I was in Indianapolis, so I was like, okay, Gold Rush Rumble, here we go. And then I remember I came back, and it was like, oh, look at this. And
Yeah, it came back at the right time.
yeah, it was a very good event. I
Yeah.
remember. I don't think you were there that night.
I was not. I wasn't there that night. But your
Uh,
boy won. That's all you remember. You could say it.
what?
Your boy
Johnny won.
Yeah.
I was very happy. I'll say that. I was very, very happy that he won. Not even joking you. I was looking at the match. VSK and Johnny were the last two. I remember that. Johnny was thrown out by VSK. His feet touched the floor. I was pissed. As much as I like VSK, I was pissed because I wanted to see Collins win. But I realized the referees were out. That's when I was like screaming. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, no. I was like, wait a minute. And I saw Johnny come back in the ring. I was like, oh, and it was awesome. But then I was like, we're gonna get the Johnny Collins Coach of Monefield, because before the Gold Rush Rumble, Johnny was calling you out, and so
Yeah.
I thought, oh, here we go. Johnny could win right here, and the feud goes on, because I believe in July, the event before, he called out your dad.
Yes, my dad was actually up for that show, and he was taking some shots at him. So that's
It-
that counts. He talks a lot, and he aims it at different people. So we were able to get that feud going after all that. So it worked out.
It was a very much of a back and forth feud. There was no man that was on top. It was back and forth, and everybody was on the edge of their seat saying, "Who would win? Who's gonna win?" There's no man on top. It's 50-50. But yeah, again, great feud. I think feud of the year. If there was a voting, I don't think there was a awards last year. But if there was, I think that would have been feud of the year. All right, so now we're going to get to the end of the podcast with trivia.
All right.
All right, so if you didn't see the first episode, Johnny Collins got, I believe, 3 correct. Steven Stevens got 5 correct. 5 is the amount of questions, so they are the first. That was the first episode that my guests got all the questions correct. So let's see if you could be the second one. So
Wait, what about Phil Cardigan?
Phil Cardigan has not been on yet. I said I want to have him on.
Oh,
in the
okay.
future.
All right. I thought he was on. My
No,
bad.
I do want him on though. So you are a coach, so you know pretty much a lot of, somewhat of sports.
All right. Yeah.
Name any 3 athletes. I like to start off very easy. So can you name any 3 athletes for me?
Any 3 athletes?
Any 3 athletes.
Can I try to stump you?
Try.
Steve Prefontaine.
Okay, you stumped me.
Oh, easy. Marion Jones. Do you know her?
No. You are stumping me. You're stumping me. I thought I was like, okay, I know like almost I know a lot of athletes.
The third one will be Lasse Viren.
I'm just gonna trust you on that.
All right, so those are all track and field athletes.
I was thinking it was track and field, because I do see you a lot post about track and field.
Yes. So Prefontaine and Lasse Viren, they both ran in the early 70s. Marion Jones was mid 90s U.S. sprinter, and she's really good.
No, I was like I think he's saying track and field athletes.
Yeah.
I never specified, so hey, you got that one correct. Alrighty. Well, I thought this was gonna be the very hard one.
Uh-oh.
At the Gold Rush Rumble in 2018, who started the match with you?
Let me see if I can remember.
Yeah, let's
Johnny
see if we remember.
Boy
Take your
Collins.
time.
So
your time.
if you go back and watch that match, he slapped me twice within the first minute and a half. And those hurt like hell.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
He had a full wind-up and went across my face. That stung. Okay, Dust, after the match, my face was still stinging. Seriously.
Really? Oh
Oh,
my
like-
god.
I feel like I still have a handprint on me. It was, yeah.
He slapped you that hard?
Dude, twice. Like, it was twice, really within probably more like 30 seconds.
Did he? Now I'm not saying if he should have or not, but was he like when you got backstage? Was he apologizing?
So I don't remember.
He
But
slapped you so hard, your memory got
yeah, he probably left the arena after that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, I don't remember that part. I just remember like it was still stinging after.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I know
You,
how a sting feels like, so I can only imagine how it feels on the face.
yeah. When
Oh
you
my
talk to him,
God!
you ask him about that. Be like, hey, you ever slap Coach Mammone? And he'll probably start laughing.
You ever slapped Coach Mammone and gave him almost memory loss? All right, so you got two correct now.
All right.
Um, Number three, I'm realizing I'm giving you some easy questions right here.
Hey, just 'cause
Um,
I'm smart doesn't mean it's easy.
yeah, you were on a game. You were on a game show.
Yeah,
You bet your life.
I did.
Who's the host of that? Do you remember?
His name is Jay Leno, and he was very cool to work with. You know that he wrestled in WCW, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So I didn't know that either, and he said that to me on the show. He said it was him, and I think DDP versus Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff.
That's
Yeah, I think that was it. It was those four. So of course I had to look that up after, and I was like, it was really crazy to see, but he did a good job. I thought he looked, not. Of course, he's not a trained wrestler, but he held his own. It wasn't horrible.
I definitely got to see a match of his now. But
Yeah.
I believe if I'm correct, you won that game show.
Yes, I did.
You went to the final round. I think what was it, like double? Like you could double your cash.
Correct. So when
And-
double or nothing, we won that final question, and then I was also able to guess like a bonus question by basically saying the word comedian, and then we got an extra bonus money basically.
Oh, okay. It was like a cash word. Where
Yes.
if you said it, you get cash. It was,
Correct.
no, I know what you're talking about. I've seen some shows where it's like
Okay.
if you say a specific word, you either get a punishment or you get cash.
Mhm.
I know what you're talking about. But I remember I think I watched the whole thing and I was like, wow, he won. It was
Oh,
like
cool.
he won.
That was such an exciting trip, and like the way they treated us was amazing. Like they had like snacks, they had drinks for us like the whole day, because it was a whole day of filming. So it's like a very long day out there, but really really cool and just amazing experience.
Did you get to talk to I don't know if you said this alright, but did you get to talk to Jay Leno?
So not too much. There was commercial breaks on like the set. They would come over, kind of like powder our nose, make sure that we're everything is straight, everything looks good. Talk to Jay. So we didn't really have a lot of time talking in between that. But just even on the show, he just seemed very just very easy to talk to. Like it wasn't like he's Jay Leno. He's this major, famous person. Like you could talk to him and he's cool. Like he's fine. Kevin Eubanks was the other, like the co-host, and he was actually talking to me during like the intermission during the commercial break, just about wrestling stuff. So I was like, it was just cool. It was a very friendly environment.
No, I'm glad to hear that because you probably see on the news, like, there's probably some game shows that like the host doesn't really treat the contestants well. So just hearing that, it's really good. And I think that game show should get a lot of credit of where it's due. I think a good game show is not just what you see on TV, but also what's off TV. If I was a game show host, I would try to get at least some conversation going.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm glad to hear that. Alrighty. Fourth question. SummerSlam is coming up soon. SummerSlam of 1988 featured the Honky Tonk Man face what superstar for the Intercontinental Championship?
Tricky questions. Probably like some big like warrior looking guy that's like super crazy and ultimate. I don't remember his face because there's probably paint all over it, and there was like streamers flying from his arms. So I'm guessing Ultimate Warrior.
You are correct. It was the
Yes!
Ultimate Warrior.
I
I'm
got
surprised
it.
you got that. Lucky guess.
Yeah, lucky guess. That's it.
All right, so this is the fifth and final question. You might get a little stumped here.
All right.
Again, it's supposed to go from easy to hard, but I thought the fourth question, which is usually the question before the very hard question, I thought you were gonna get really stumbled with the 2018 Gold Rush Rumble. That's why I was laughing. I was like, oh my god, you just got one of the questions before I even said the question. Alrighty, fifth and final question. If you get this right, you will become a trivia champion of dusting off the ropes.
All right.
Alrighty. VPW Before the Storm in 2019. You had a match. Who did you face in that match?
Before the Storm.
In 2019. I'll give you the date. February 9th, 2019.
I'm thinking it's someone from it's like I'm thinking of Kyler Khan or guys from the Influence. I'm thinking of someone from that crew.
When you have your answer, I will say is that your final answer, and then you can lock it in. You could say as much as you want, but if you have an answer and you want to lock that in, just say final answer.
Okay. So I know
as much time.
Okay, I know Kyler Khan was my last match before COVID, and that was in 20.
That was in 2020.
Tricky question, Dust.
It's a very hard question. It's the fifth question is always the hardest question.
2019.
February 9th, 2019, Before the Storm. You had a match. Who did you face?
Was it a singles match?
I'll say that. It was a one-on-one match.
I'm just thinking someone from the Influence, and I feel like it was Jay Delta.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, final answer.
Jay Delta is your final answer. On February 9th, 2019, VPW Before the Storm, you were honored as the 2018 VPW Rookie of the Year. You were cut off and had a match with Razzle Dazzle.
Really?
You had a match with Razzle Dazzle. He cut you off. I believe this was the point where you guys broke up. And you had it. It's on YouTube. I'm not
calling you a liar. Don't worry. I thought that was earlier. That's why.
It was at the Before the Storm pay-per-view. You were honored with a trophy by Radio, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And Razzle Dazzle interrupted, came out to the ring, and you guys had a match. And I think you won, if I'm correct. I'm looking at the video now. Yeah, you won that match. So it was a tricky question. You got 4 correct.
All right.
But hey, that's not bad. You beat Johnny.
Yeah, but I got the most on my own. I wasn't a whole team.
I'll say this.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I gave Azure and Somerset one question on their own for each, and then the last three questions were the three hardest questions. I let them be together, and they had a hard time with a lot of questions. I'll say this: I gave you some really easy questions for the.
Yeah, you did.
I did. I was like, 'cause for them, I was like, for the fourth question, I was like, I don't know. Let's see if you know this. Andre the Giant and Big John Studd faced off at WrestleMania 1 in what kind of match?
I'm thinking of Body Slam.
Gosh darn it, man.
Yeah. So here's I feel like I know more of the early WrestleManias, like around those, a lot better than the more recent ones. Because like that's what I grew up watching. That was just a lot of fun. And side note, Andre and Big John Studd had like real life beef because Big John Studd would go over the top rope, and Andre's like, no, that's my thing. So, like, Andre legit did not like Big John Studd.
Well, there's some trivia for me.
There you go.
And I also asked who they faced at, I believe, King of New York in 2020. And remember, it's not just one person. They had to think of both members of the team. And it was a trick question because it technically really wasn't a team like how the Even Stevens are a team. Like, this was like almost like a pairing. And they got it.
Can I make a guess? Wait, don't say it.
Here, take a guess.
Was it Mike Anthony and Jesse Hurst?
No, it was not Mike Anthony or Jesse. Good. They were thinking of that, but then they went a little deeper. It was Percival the Third and Aaron Rourke.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It was a little bit of a, but they were thinking a lot. But you got 4 questions correct. Very good. So that is going to be the end of episode 3 of Dusting Off the Ropes. I want to say, Coach, thank you for your time. It was a very good interview. I'm very happy to have you on, and I'm hoping that we can have you on in the future.
You're very welcome, Dust. It was great being here. Thank you for the invite.
My pleasure. And if you guys have sticked around to the end of the interview, I have said that there were sponsors. Thank you to my uncle Scooter Dust for allowing me to have his sponsors on here. The sponsors that I said at the beginning of the interview, we have the sponsors for the Remix Pacecast that I am proud to announce that I am going to be the 3rd member of the alternate announce team for that, with Scooter Dust, James, and myself. We're going to be doing alternate commentary for Money in the Bank tomorrow night on the Nobody Out Craziness Ophelia Productions YouTube channel. I will be posting more on that on my Instagram either later today or tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. If you're watching Money in the Bank and you want some alternate commentary, you should definitely join that because it's a lot of fun. Anyways, this is Ryan Dust, the host of the Dusting Off the Ropes podcast. Let's see if I can get that. Oh, I am correct with the pointing. This is Coach Mammone.
Yeah!
And thank you for tuning in. And I hope to see you next time on Dusting Off the Ropes.